I need to be more consistent. I need to have a tighter shot pattern. I need to hit the ball farther. I need to hit more greens. I need to hit more fairways. Are these things that you say to yourself when you're thinking about your golf game? Well, if you're saying any of those things, it really means one thing. You don't have control over your club face. And in this video today, I'm going to talk to you about what it takes to control the club face, and then give you some ideas on how you can practice to try and get control of your club face. So before we jump in, if you've never subscribed to my channel, please do. Tons and tons of great golf information here, all about trying to help you play better golf. So let's talk about what controls the club face. Well, there are three main parts of the golf club that we have to control. We have to control the shaft, that's controlled by swing plane. We have to control the club head weight or the mass, that's controlled by the trigger finger of your left hand. But today, we're talking about the club face, and we have to have control of that club face. And what controls that club face is the back of the lead wrist. So if you're a right-handed golfer, it's the back of your left wrist. If you're a left-handed golfer, it's going to be the back of your right wrist. And what is the condition that that wrist needs to be in order for your club face to be square? It needs to be flat, okay? If you have a left wrist that is bent, you have no control over your club face, okay? So that's the first thing I wanted to point out today. If you can video yourself and you come through impact and that left wrist is bending, you better focus on that, because you've got zero control over your club face if that left wrist is bent. Okay, so a flat right wrist is what we have to have. Now, how do we achieve a flat right wrist? Well, the flat right wrist is achieved by us having a really good pivot, okay? We get set up at address. I've got a little bend in my left wrist, but as I take that club back and my right elbow bends and my right wrist bends, my left wrist should flatten out. And when I get to the top of the backswing, that left wrist should be flat. Okay, I'm going to talk about the positions of the club face in just a minute, but so I achieve that flat left wrist at the top of the backswing. Now, in order for me to maintain that left wrist being flat through impact, my body has to turn. If my body's not turning, you've got no chance of keeping that left wrist flat, because this club head gets weighing too much. It effectively gains a ton of weight and a ton of mass as it comes into impact, and you're just not strong enough to hold that back. So the only way that lead wrist can stay flat through impact is for us to rotate. Okay? If my body rotates and my body pulls on my left arm pulls on my left wrist pulls on the club shaft pulls on the club face, that's how you maintain lag. That's how you keep a flat left wrist. Okay? Now, let me backtrack just 1 minute and talk about one other thing before we jump forward. Now, I would be a terrible golf instructor if I was talking about controlling this club face and I didn't discuss grip, okay? Because that's where it all starts. You have to make sure that you're getting that top hand on the club correctly. So for us righties, it's our left hand. For you lefties, it's your right hand. We've got to get that grip down in our fingers. We've got to get that heel pad up on top of the grip. Our thumb needs to be slightly right of center, and the V we create needs to point to our right shoulder. You should be able to see a couple of knuckles. If you have a bad left-hand grip, again, you're just whistling up a dark alley, because you're going to have a very difficult time trying to control that club face. So step number one is get your hands on that golf club correctly. So now that we've determined that we have to have a good left-hand grip or right-hand grip, depending on what your hand dominance, okay? But top hand, we have to have a great grip. We have to have a really good pivot going forward. There's a couple of other factors that we need to look at in order to make sure that this club face is square, okay, and under control. Because squareness, club face pointing to our target, is just another one of the components that has to happen for us to be in control of the club face, okay? If my left wrist is flat, okay, and if my body is pivoting, look at the condition of the shaft of my club. It is leaning forward, okay? That is another specific example of something that we have to do in order to have control of the club face. So let me show you what this would look like at impact, okay? So we do not want to come back to impact with the shaft vertical, okay? If we do that, we are going to hit the ball, we hit the club face and hit the ball down on the bottom of the club face. Not good. We definitely can't come into the impact with the shaft leaning backwards, because now we're just going to hit it thin, okay? We're swinging up at that golf ball. So that shaft has to lean forward, and it pitches that club face forward, almost de-lofting the club, and that allows that club face to make more solid contact with the ball. This is one, how we compress the ball, okay? But that shaft has to lean forward to show the majority of the face to the ball. Because again, if my shaft is vertical, the face is looking up, the ball's down here. We're not ever going to get solid contact. So in order to have control of that club face, great left hand grip, great pivot so that the left wrist stays flat and that shaft stays leaned forward. Now let me show you one other thing that you have to do to make sure that you're in control of that club face. For this club face to be in control, we also have to control the movement of the club head as it approaches the ball. The club head, if the shaft is on plane, is going to approach the ball from the inside slightly. It's going to hit the ball, and it's then going to go back to the inside. There's an arc to the swing, okay? If you are somebody that has a swing that moves much too much in to out, you can see how you don't have control of that club face in how it relates to the ball, and you're going to have a whole lot of heel strikes if you move the club that way. Vice versa, if you're a person that the club is moving too much to the left, now you've got a club face that's moving from outside to inside, swiping across the ball, you are going to have a lot of toe hits. So that club face is in control when we swing that shaft on plane, allowing that club face, again, the most access to the ball. Or you could say the ball, the most access to the club face. We are presenting the majority of our club face to the ball. So there you go. If you want to have control of the club face, you have to have a great left hand grip. You have to have a flat left wrist. You have to have a pivot that is moving properly. You have to have a club shaft that is leaning forward. And you have to have a club face shaft that's swinging on plane so that that ball is being presented the majority of the club face. Now, all of that seems very complicated. And hey, it kind of is. Because if it was easy, I wouldn't even have a job, all right? Because the majority of the people that come to me, nobody has control of the club face, all right? Their golf balls go everywhere because they don't have control of the club face. So what do we need to do in practice to learn to control this club face? Well, if you've ever seen any of my videos, you know I love a practice station. You know that I love slow practice. You know that I like small swings. So we're going to put all of those things together, okay? I'm going to take 2 golf balls, and I'm going to put them just outside, just kind of surrounding the ball that's on the ground, making myself a little track. I've done this drill a whole bunch of times in other videos. I've got just enough room for my golf club to travel through that path. This is going to help me with getting my shaft on plane, not having the club move too much in to out or out to in, okay? I'm also going to now make swings where I find a backswing position and a forward swing position that's a little bit short, okay, well below my shoulders. And let's put the camera back here so we can look at what the club face is doing. So here's my setup, 2 golf balls surrounding a ball in the middle. Just something to affect my brain, to force my brain to swing the club on the right path, okay? Now, what do I want this club face to look like? So if I get set up at address and I bring the club halfway back to where it's parallel to the ground, I want the shaft parallel to my target line, but I want this club face, that leading edge, in line with my spine. That would be a square club face. Then again, when I get to the top of the backswing, I want my left wrist flat, and I want the club face in line with the back of my left wrist or the back of my left forearm. okay? And then halfway back down, when I find that parallel position again, I want that shaft on plane and I want that club face square. Now, from there, if I can find those positions, it's very easy for me to then just rotate my body through impact using very minimal hand action, and the club face is going to stay square and I'm going to be more in control. This would be what we would kind of call a body release, okay? I think if we can release the club with our body, we have a much better chance of controlling that club head, okay, and club face. Let me put you back over here and so you can see again. Okay, this camera angle should give you a really nice view. I want the club halfway back, club face in line with my spine, to the top, left wrist flat, club face in line with the back of my left wrist, halfway back down, club face square. Now let my body rotate through the 2 golf balls so I'm on plane and finish the swing, using my body rotation to help release that golf club. And now, let's just go nice and slow, okay? Let's hit some shots, very slow, very easy. Okay, not bad. Now, one thing that I really like my students to do is in between shots, do more repetitions. So I know out here, if I don't have a mirror, I can't really tell what my club's like at the top of the backswing, but I can rehearse that position and that position. Over here, I want that club face in line with my spine as well. I can feel what my body is doing. I can feel the transfer of the weight in my feet. So again, nice and slow, nice and easy. Okay, another good shot. Well, there you have a very quick explanation of what we need to do to make sure that that club face is in control. So again, in review, great left hand grip or great top hand grip. We want to have a flat left wrist or flat lead wrist. We have to have a good pivot, and we have to make sure that that shaft is swinging on plane so that we are delivering that club to that ball with as much of the face exposed as we can and the shaft leaning forward. That's a lot. It's a lot to grasp in your head, and it's a lot to do. This is why I need y'all to go slow, and I need you to practice correctly. Get yourself in front of a mirror at home. I just mentioned a mirror. You've seen me do videos with a little mirror out here on the driving range. I think that's great. But man, you can just get at home and put a mirror back behind you. I've got videos all over my video library about these topics, and just stand in front of a mirror and watch yourself do it over and over and over again. Pay attention to what things feel like. Because folks, if y'all can learn to control that club face, you're gonna have more control over the golf ball. And when you have control over the golf ball, you can then start making smart decisions on the golf course to help lower your score. If you don't have control of the club face and you don't have control of the golf ball, you can't make decisions because you don't know what's getting ready to happen when you hit this shot. You're just hoping you hit a good one. So work hard on this club face. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to answer them. If you got some topic that you're having trouble with in your game, drop me a comment below. I'd love to work on it. And if you've never subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Do it. I know you're out there watching and you're not subscribed, so just go ahead and do it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Folks, y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all later. And I would be a bad Alabama fan if I didn't finish this video with a Roll Tide, since we just put it on Georgia the other night. So Roll Tide, everybody.